So let's talk when African women talk. So I first discovered your work through a colleague and friend, Tia. Hey, Tia. I
Hey,
hope you're
Tia.
watching. So I was just like, it just blew my mind, to see all of those women, all of their contributions, a whole set of doors open, to me. And I'm like, wow, it's good. It's good to know that not just women, but African, Black women are making contributions right here at home. So, already I'm writing you, I'm reaching out, trying to connect, and, here we are today. So, what inspired the birth of When African Women Talk? I know it has to do with you relocating and, seeing that there was this pressing need for that connection, women to women, having somebody that could walk beside you, somebody that might have similar experience or somebody that's already, navigating the system. So, take it away. Tell us all about, what the different programs that you have in When African Women Talk.
So When African Women Talk was birthed because I needed other women like myself to network with. I needed women who were professionals, who wanted elevation, who were looking for more. I also needed a community that wanted to thrive with me. And I wanted to be in a space where I could be unapologetically myself. And so even just walking into the space today, there's no, I didn't have to put on a persona. I could just be myself here and own everything of my space. And that's because even as we talk and as we share, we're both African women. We've already discovered similarities in terms of like upbringing and things like that.
Yeah.
There's just always this space of like, I see you and you see me. And then like, I celebrate you. You're doing great. And you're like, I celebrate you, which we just did.
Yeah.
That's always very rewarding. And so how do we continue to share that? And how do we continue to amplify that kind of sisterhood? I think many, many communities have that in Alberta. And, when you are an immigrant and just living in Canada, Canada is very siloed in how we are. So you are this community, you're Ukrainian, you're East Indian, you're like, it's very much that way. You're not just Canadian. I'm a Ukrainian Canadian. There's always an identity of where you were from and where you, and whereas you'd go to American, you're just American or you're just English. Canadians are very like, I am this, which is great because we acknowledge where we're from and who we are. They make us, right? But then in that, there's also a form of siloing that happens where you get pocketed and then you get left out. And so if you're not from this community, you get left out at parties or you get left out at weddings, or they're your colleagues and you can invite them and they don't show up. And I think that was my first experience here. Is like, I remember my daughter's baptism and I invited so many people and only my African friends came. And
That's
all my other friends didn't show up. Maybe one person showed up. I think he worked with my husband. So for me, that was very confronting because you're with these people all the time who are from diverse backgrounds. But because they're busy in their communities. And I'm like, so where's my community? Right? And so I think also you mentioned you're Sierra Leonean, but I'm Zambian. Our community as Zambians isn't as big as maybe, I think Sierra Leonean, Cameroonian, Liberian, Nigerian, Ghanaian. They're a bit older. Ethiopian communities are a bit older here in Alberta. They've been here longer. They've had the longevity. They've got their own association systems. So they're privileged enough to not need people the way some of us do.
Well, I understand, but
So for me, it's like, who are my people? Where are they? And so I'm mixed race. So being mixed race means I get to get along with different people, very open-minded, very well-traveled. And so I enjoy different cultures. I enjoy different people. And I also enjoy learning about different Africans, different Black people in the diaspora, generations of Black Canadians, generations of Caribbean. It's for me, learning the Black community has been like this gift of like, wow, we are such a diverse people.
Yeah.
And so once I started to get to know more people, I wanted more. And so the more became When African Women Talk.
Oh, I see why the organization is thriving, because you want to meet more people, from different backgrounds. So it's like you could be in the room with, different women in the organization at different times and not feel bored because you're eager to learn and experience.
And I love connecting people. So like, I can see, I have this gift of seeing parallels. Like, so already I met you and your husband. I'm like, there are 5 other couples that are similar who are in your space that I would love you to meet. And you never know what you can create. And just having that support and knowing that you're not alone in what you do. I think sometimes we grow up thinking we're so alone in our experience and our lived experiences. And When African Women Talk has broken those barriers for me, because I realize we have so many similar experiences as Black people in Canada, as immigrants in Canada. There's just so much we've experienced, and so bringing that all together. And then also there's such an advocacy piece to When African Women Talk that we deserve more, we deserve better, but we can't keep waiting for others to give it to us. It's time for us to show up in our excellence.
Right, I like that.
And say, we're here, this is what we look like, this is what we can do.
Yeah.
Do you want to buy from us? Do you want to support us? Do you want to hang with us? And so, like your experience of the Founders Ball, and just celebrating Black women in her Legacy Awards, amplifying these phenomenal women that are doing amazing work is a way of saying we're here, and this is what we do. And then we have our magazine, Her Legacy magazine, which we had the inaugural issue published in November for the 16 Days of Activism Against Gender-Based Violence. And it's us explaining that it is in our communities, but this is what it looks like, and this is where you can get support. And again, breaking those barriers down, but it allows us to give ourselves our own narratives and our own stories, and telling it in the way we need it to be told for us to hear and make those changes. So that's When African Women Talk.
It's loaded.
It's so loaded, and it's got so many faces, and we have so many things. You asked about programming. So we have 4 major events during the year. And those 4 major events are coming up now. Next week will be our Black History Month gala. Well, we called it a gala, but this year I think we will call it our Black History Month Cultural Night. But we're changing it a bit. We want it to be more fun and inviting more people. Because we have the Founders Ball, we've decided that will be a major ball type event for the year, and then the other events will be a bit different. So we get it appeals to different people in the community. Not everyone's into a ball, not everyone's into a brunch, not everyone's into a pajama party. So this might be your thing. And so on the 8th of February, we have the Black History Month night, and that night celebrates women in our community again. And it's someone different women that are doing amazing work. And then the 4 events are the Black History Month event, and then we have our brunch, which is a sisterhood brunch celebrating women in the community and sisterhood. And that brunch, we always create a platform for you to share your business or whatever you're selling, or whatever, so women are able to come and patronize you. And then the food provided, the drinks are all by Black-owned businesses, women-owned businesses. And then we have our Founders Ball, which you
Oh, it was
participated,
phenomenal.
and then which has her Legacy Awards,
Yeah.
where we celebrate women in the community that are just doing phenomenal work, amplifying their work, celebrating them. And then every year we have one woman we celebrate. And she's the Woman of the Year, the Watt Woman of the Year. And then at the end of the year, we always celebrate in a holiday party, our pajama party. So I
missed that
love
one.
pajamas. That's my go-to every day.
Yeah.
If you come up to my house and ring my doorbell on a random day,
Yeah.
I bet you I'm in pajamas or in sweats. And so I wanted an event where we could just show up and relax and dance and
Yeah.
just let off some steam, but that has a rejuvenate wellness retreat attached to it. So you come in on a Friday and we do a vision board night, which allows you to project for your future year coming.
Yeah.
Because it's in December. And then the next morning we have a yoga session, just allows you to just breathe. And it's led by a Black woman. So it's amazing. This year we had Mary do it for us, Mary Noah, and she was playing yoga music, but it was African music that I've never heard before, and I'm just like, this is breathing, and it was it was really, really a great way to connect. And she was teaching us that the yoga practice she has is African rooted. It's actually African, which I've never heard of.
Yeah,
it was really interesting. And then in the evening, we had the pajama party, which was really nice. Just come together, have a meal.
Yeah.
Prior to that, we had Fola by Looks by Toss do a makeup master class for women who want to learn how to just show up in confidence and do your makeup.
Right.
And then we had our evening, and then that's it for the year. Then we start all over again. But in between, we have a membership at When African Women Talk. So if you are a member, then there are different programs, so different things that we do. Like we have an executive series that helps entrepreneurs. We have our book club that meets every 8 weeks. So we just announced the books for the year, which are always written by Black female authors.
Oh, wow. That's nice.
And even our books, we try and make sure that the books have representation of the diversity in our Black community. So a book from the Caribbean, a book from North Africa, South Africa, East Africa. It's quite a bit of work. So Cynthia Onyegbula hosts that with me. And so she's the main host of the book club and has been doing it. This year will be our 4th year. Thank you so much, Cynthia. She does a phenomenal job. And so we choose the books together with suggestions, of course, from community and just promoting Black literature and Black stories, but allows us also to understand our own narratives and understand who we are.
Right.
We always assume just because we're African, we do things the same.
True.
We realize, oh no, we're similar, but we have some differences.
Right.
And it allows us to learn about one another in a really nice, informative way.
Yeah.
And then we have, for wellness, we support Sister Walk. So run by Cynthia Onyegbula, she runs that. And so we support her. And then we also have a football club, which meets once a month. We just come together, play soccer.
Nice.
Which is so much fun.
That should be,
And that's run by Karen Richards.
Wow.
And we'll be launching in February a swimming club for women who want to learn how to swim, members who want to learn how to swim.
You hear that?
We've got a few ladies so it will be private lessons, 12 ladies at a time.
Nice.
That can come out and learn how to swim. So we've got lots of different programming, and it's evolving from year to year.
Yeah.
And this year, God willing, we will be having our innovation hub space where
Nice.
Look
forward
it's
to
coming. I'll leave that one, but
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for giving that.
So now that we're in February, we will be launching a campaign for the hub, and we are looking to you, the community, to help us fundraise, because I believe that we too can give ourselves what we deserve. And so we're putting it on a crowdfunding space, which is match on match funding from the government. So the money we put on and the government will match to a certain amount. And so please go on there and click and support us. We'd really appreciate that.
And we'll try to help, push that word out.
That I'd appreciate that very much.
Awesome. Wow, where do I even start?
I know it's so much. It's such a mouthful.
That's what I like, though. Just, having all of these different programs, right? Like
right.
The sister walk, I was talking to Tia the other day. Like, I really want to get into that. But then it's 7:30 in the morning.
Yes.
And then she told me about those. So basically, there's something for every individual.
Yeah.
Like if you don't like soccer, there's something that you can,
right.
one of those groups that you could get into. So that's the beauty, of when it's like going to a buffet, right?
And trying it out.
Yeah.
What do you like?
Exactly.
There's something for everyone.
Yeah.
Different
Which
personality types.
Yeah.
And we also have the platforms. I forgot to mention we have a hub where we invite, I think we recently invited you to the hub that you're not on. And we have about 300 women on there. You can share your business. We make announcements, what's going on in the community. And then last year we started our savings group. So I know in different communities, they're called different things. Susu, Chama, everybody has a contribution round.
Right.
But Stockville, but what it is our mothers used to do it, our grandmothers used to do it, where you put money together and one person every month receives an amount. And I've had phenomenal testimonies. 2 sisters have bought homes, put down payments on homes. Some people have paid off credit cards. So this has been amazing to see the impact of just creating spaces for women to just come together, where maybe someone didn't have community to do this with others before.
Right.
They now have another community to do it with.
And it takes a lot. To
a
figure
lot
out
of administration.
Oh my gosh.
A lot of administration.
So I mean, I have that question, like you pour so much into women, like where do you find the time for you? Like what does Rihanna like to do? With the X amount of quiet time, you have kids, just throw some light.
So I love my recent space that I enjoy is my Pilates.
Okay.
I joined a gym here in the city that has Pilates. So I do both mat and reformer Pilates. I do a hot yoga class, plus I swim.
I see some of your videos.
And I love my swimming days because then I get to swim, sit in the hot tub, go in the sauna, go in the steam room. And so for me, that's a really relaxing, alone time for me to recharge. I also have several people, big sisters in community that are just such safe spaces for me to go and sit on their couch and hang out with them. But a lot of the programs that we do are programs that I've wanted that allow me. So they're not me working.
Right.
So like book club is a passion. Reading books is a passion. So I'm enjoying something, but I get to share it with others.
Not everyone can say that.
Right. So it's not a task. And then the book club meets every 8 weeks, which is realistic.
Right.
So I enjoy dinner with my girls, but then I'm having guided dinner. We're not gossiping. We're not talking about frivolous stuff. We're not competing. It's
I like that.
Guided conversation that allows me to look into myself. It allows narrative therapy, because narrative therapy allows you to look at others and then create narratives that represent yourself.
Right.
So that happens for a lot. It's a very healing space. So I walk away feeling rejuvenated.
So it's like fun work. I'll put it that way.
I don't see it as work.
Yeah. That's amazing.
And then with the soccer club, it's once a month as well. It's just a night out, running around for an hour. I walk out feeling like I am David Beckham.
Nice.
You
there
know?
You go.
And then so these spaces I find rejuvenating. They're not draining me. What does drain me is the lack of finance in these to create these programs. access to funding, the need for funding. I've poured a lot of my own personal finances into When African Women Talk. Last year was hard because I had to have a bit of hard boundaries about that. But it's also been a growth around that. But finances is the hardest part. Is what is too expensive for community, what is expensive for my pocket, and where do we bridge that gap? So learning to create more partnerships with businesses, and then also learning to find ways for us to create a business model that can sustain When African Women Talk outside of funding.
To bring our resources
out of grant funding, because it's also very competitive and very minimal, right? So I think those spaces, I travel quite a bit as well. And I travel alone. So when I do travel alone, I have alone time.
That's your alone time.
Yeah. And then I during the week, I hardly do meet people. I do work between certain hours. I'm very boundaried about that. So that's why sometimes I don't respond at certain times, because I'm trying to be more boundaried. Like I work within my working hours, not at night.
That helps to prevent burnout.
Yes.
Right?
And then I have a very, very supportive husband that just supports me, supports what I'm doing. He is my partner in everything that I do, supports me at home. So he's probably making dinner right now. It's a Sunday evening. So having that type of partnership that just supports me makes a huge difference.
Absolutely.
And then I have a big family here. My husband's family is here and my sister's here.
Awesome.
So I have people who support me in different areas that just make being a mother here a bit easier as compared to doing it alone.
It goes a long way when you have this community of people.
I remember doing my hair at the sisterhood branch. I was doing my hair and our planner called us and said there were some issues. And I was on the phone and I called this friend, that friend, that friend. And then the lady doing my hair says, "How do you get to call so many people?" I didn't realize it.
Then,
But, I think that's also one thing with When African Women Talk. You get to have a network of reliable people.
Reliable, I like that.
Yeah.
Because it's not a matter of having a whole group of people.
Yes.
People that you could, trust and then you could go to when the need arises.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. It's a beautiful community. I'm learning a lot, and check it out. Get involved. It's a buffet. So
that's a nice
there's
one.
gotta be.
I should start putting that on our tagline. It's a buffet.
Yeah. That's certainly something for you. Okay, so check When African Women Talk. What's the website or email?
So our website is www.whenafricanwomentalk.com.
Okay.
I don't know why I always say .com, because I'll talk .com. Yeah, .com.
Okay.
And you can find us on Instagram and LinkedIn and Facebook. You will find us very active. And to get involved, you can be involved in multiple ways. You can donate. You can support by coming to one of the events. You can become a member, or you can support another sister who wants to attend an event. So every so often we do giveaways. And so if you want to be involved and you can't attend something, you can always say, you know what, I want to buy a ticket for 2 people to attend. And we're very, very, we're not selective. We don't keep things within our...
You're inclusive? Is that?
I don't know what the word is, but we share, and we really want to create this shared ownership of the space. It doesn't belong to Rihanna. It's our space. It's our sisterhood. It's our space as Black women in Alberta, in Canada, to thrive and be seen. And so, if you can't make it, it's like, if you can't make it, you'll send your son or your daughter. You know what I mean? Something like that. So
that's powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.